Hi everyone. We just finished reading the 10th week of our Through the Bible in 1 Year. And we were reading some of Numbers, some of Mark, some of Psalms and Proverbs. And I noticed a sort of a theme in Numbers and Mark as we're reading through. And we see Jesus setting up the laws for the new kingdom. At the same time, we see Moses setting up the rules that God is giving him for the new nation of Israel. And so there's sort of a parallel going on here. But I just want to start with one of the Proverbs that we read, which was Proverbs 11, verse 2. It says, "Pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom." Wisdom comes through humility, because when we are humble and humble ourselves to recognize that we don't know everything, that's when we depend on God, and that's when we look to others and we look to God to learn and gain wisdom. And it's interesting that at the same time we read in Numbers chapter 12 verse 3, it says, "Now Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth." Moses was the most humble man on the face of the earth at that time, probably ever. But anyways, it says at that time. And so he was chosen by God, probably because of humility. We know that he wasn't a good speaker. He had a speech impediment of some sort, and he really didn't want to be used by God in that way. He didn't strive for leadership. God chose him because he saw that he was humble, and he had an amazing heart. And we see that through Numbers as the Israelites keep complaining. They're frustrated, they're hungry, they're in the desert, they're not happy with the situation. So they keep complaining to God about their situation. But Moses, over and over again, he fights on their behalf. He intercedes for them. And he gets down on his face and he intercedes and tries to save the people. And one instant where he does that is in chapter 14 of Numbers, starting verse 17. It says, "Now the Lord's strength be displayed, just as you have declared. The Lord is slow to anger, abounding in love, and forgiving sins and rebellion. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children for the sins of the parents to the third and fourth generation. In accordance with your great love, forgive the sins of the people, just as you have pardoned them from the time we left Egypt until now." So in his intercession for the Israelites here, he's actually quoting Exodus 4:6 that we read a while back, when God passed before Moses and described himself to Moses. He said that he was forgiving and loving, abounding in love and forgiving rebellion. And so Moses is using God's word and quoting it back to him and said, "God, you said you are forgiving. Please forgive these people." And so he's using God's word and trying to plead on the behalf of the people to save them, and he does. And so, it's just kind of neat that Moses stood in between God and the people and on behalf of them. They were frustrating people. And you know what? Sometimes we are like that. We complain. We complain about our church leaders. We complain about our city leaders, our country leaders. We complain about leaders a lot. And, we shouldn't be doing that. We should be interceding on behalf of them. We should be praying for them. We should be leading as a model of wisdom. And then I want to just jump into Mark and finish off with the greatest commandment that God gave through Jesus. And it's in Mark 15:29. "The most important one," Jesus answered, "is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There's no command greater than these." So Jesus is at the end of his ministry here too. We see that he's coming up to his crucifixion, and he's kind of summing up all his teaching in loving God and loving people. And that takes humility. It really does. And we see that in Moses, and that's what he demonstrated, and that's what Jesus demonstrated, especially when he went to the cross. On March 9th, I journaled the verse of Numbers 14:19. And in the New Living Translation, it says, in keeping with your in keeping with your magnificent, unfailing love, please pardon the sins of the people, just as you have forgiven them ever since they left Egypt. I think that's so beautiful. God is magnificent and in his unfailing love. And we have the opportunity to either choose to be like the Israelites, be complaining, or we can be full of wisdom and humility and pleading on the behalf of the people. And that's what Jesus came to be. He is the one that stands between us and God. And he is the one that intercedes on behalf of us. So just some thoughts from this week. I hope you are enjoying the reading through the Bible as much as I am, and just seeing, how much the Old Testament and the New Testament are connected and the beauty of God in it. Okay, God bless.